Imagine this. You're just, scrolling through your phone.
Like we all do, all the time.
Right, exactly. But it's, say, 3 days before a massive, super contested election.
Oh, the tension is already sky high.
Totally. And suddenly this video pops up in your feed. It's one of the leading candidates, and they're saying something absolutely scandalous. I mean, just jaw-dropping, campaign-ending stuff.
And your gut reaction is pure shock.
Right, exactly. But then, almost immediately, this second feeling creeps in. How do you actually know if what you just watched really happened?
Which is a terrifying question to have to ask.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because as of this year, the answer is, well, you might not. We've officially entered an era where your eyes and ears can just be hacked.
It's a profoundly disorienting position for a voter. I mean, you're staring at high-definition video. The audio is perfectly synced. The lighting looks flawless.
But the whole thing is just a digital hallucination.
Exactly. Completely fabricated.
And that tension, that exact moment of second-guessing reality itself, that is our focus today. We're doing a deep dive into the collision of artificial intelligence, deepfakes, and political elections.
It's such a critical topic right now.
It really is. And our guide for this is a super comprehensive academic paper by Dr. Francisco José de Andrea Sanchez. He maps out how this new tech frontier is basically dismantling the political structures we've relied on for centuries.
Yeah, he really gets into the mechanics of it.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the stakes genuinely could not be higher.
To really frame those stakes, there's this concept from the biologist Edward O. Wilson, which the author brings up, and it just perfectly captures our current dilemma.
Oh, I love this quote.
Right. He observed that humanity currently operates with primitive emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology.
Primitive emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. That is just a heavy, heavy way to look at the world.
It is, but it highlights this massive, dangerous gap between the tools we've invented and the societal safeguards we actually have in place to manage them.
Yeah, because the gap is huge.
I mean, we hold practically magical capabilities in our hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the institutions designed to protect us, like our legal codes or political parties.
And they're built for a world that literally no longer exists.
Exactly.
I really want to focus on that godlike aspect, because it's so easy to assume AI just sort of, came out of nowhere.
Right, like it just dropped from the sky.
Yeah. But we have to look at how past technological leaps rewired society. Because every time information gets cheaper and faster to produce, the old political gatekeepers, well, they lose their jobs.
That is the core insight to grasp here from the source. I mean, look at the timeline of these paradigm shifts. The first really major leap is Gutenberg's printing press back in the 1450s.
Okay, yeah, going way back.
Right, but before that moment, knowledge was basically locked up by this tiny, powerful elite. You had monks copying text by hand, which meant books were incredibly rare.
And if you controlled the books,
You controlled the truth.
you essentially had a monopoly on reality.
Exactly. But then the printing press shatters that monopoly. Suddenly you have something like 13 million books produced in just 46 years.
That's wild.
It was the equivalent of what all the scribes in Western Europe had produced in 1,000 years combined. And it didn't just print Bibles, it allowed everyday people to read, to share dissenting ideas, and to organize.
It fundamentally restructured who held political power.
It really did. And then you jump forward to the 1990s with the internet and the personal computer.
Where distribution of that information just becomes instant and global.
Right. And then the smartphone revolution in 2007 takes all of that power, the internet, communication, a high-definition camera,
And just consolidates it into this single device you carry around in your pocket.
which perfectly sets the stage for November 30th, 2022, the release of ChatGPT.
Huge day.
Massive. It marks the dawn of generative AI for the masses. And the shift here is crucial. We are no longer just accessing or broadcasting information.
We're making it.
Yes. We're generating and synthesizing entirely new information. New realities, really, with just a few text prompts.
And this tech evolution directly mirrors the decay of traditional politics. Think about how a politician used to get elected,
It was a very controlled process.
Highly controlled. You had traditional party systems, strict primaries, party discipline. The party bosses acted as the ultimate gatekeepers.
Look, those gatekeepers are entirely losing their grip now.
Because the candidates just don't need them anymore.
Not at all. Social media paved the way for highly charismatic anti-system leaders to completely bypass traditional media and the party machinery.
They just go straight to the voter.
Exactly. They utilize direct digital channels to completely upend systemic norms. I mean, you look back at 2016 with Donald Trump in the U.S. or Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, AMLO, in Mexico in 2018.
Right.
They spoke directly to the public, totally unfiltered, and it made the old institutional filters totally irrelevant.
And you see this push to its absolute limit with Javier Milei in Argentina.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he started as this extreme, almost surreal television personality before social media just magnified his reach exponentially.
He really leveraged that ecosystem.
He did. But what is wild about Milei, and the author points this out, is that his public behavior is naturally so eccentric that he might actually be inoculated against AI deepfakes.
That is an observation that really highlights the absurdity of the current landscape.
Right. Like if an AI generates a fake video of him doing something completely unhinged, voters might just shrug and assume it's real.
Or they just wouldn't care.
Yeah, because they already expect the unexpected from him. He's almost immune to the shock value of a deepfake because his entire political brand is shock value.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what the Milei example demonstrates is the total failure of those medieval institutions we talked about earlier.
Yeah, the safeguards.
Right. Argentina has this specific primary election system called the PASO, and it was theoretically designed to act as an institutional filter, like a balancing mechanism against highly radical candidates.
But it didn't work.
No, against the wave of this new tech-driven, charismatic political style, the PAS utterly failed to contain the disruption. The old rules simply do not apply to the new tools.
Okay, so social media disrupted politics by changing how politicians talk to you. But AI deepfakes threaten to disrupt politics by changing what you believe is real.
That's the terrifying next step.
I want to make sure we really understand the mechanics here. Because when we say deepfake, we aren't talking about old-school photoshopping.
Not at all. Photoshopping is a static manipulation. Deepfakes use generative AI to create a totally fabricated multisensory experience.
So it's way more advanced.
Immensely. The AI isn't just cutting and pasting. When it comes to audio, for example, the AI actually maps the physical dimensions of a person's virtual vocal tract.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it chops their previous recordings into these tiny audio fractions called phonemes. It learns how that specific person breathes, pauses, and inflects.
So it isn't just replaying words they've already said. It's literally puppeteering their virtual vocal cords to say words they've never spoken.
Correct. And when you combine that with high-definition video, where the AI predicts the movement of pixels to create fluid facial expressions, perfectly synced to that synthetic audio.
You get a manufactured virtual reality.
Exactly.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because this isn't some futuristic, hypothetical sci-fi scenario. It is actively happening right now.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Just consider the fake image of the Pentagon explosion back in May 2023.
Oh, I remember that.
It wasn't even a political smear. It was just a highly believable AI-generated image of smoke billowing from the U.S. Pentagon.
And it went insanely viral.
Instantly, all across social media. The visual was so convincing that it temporarily crashed the U.S. stock market.
Which is insane to think about.
Millions of people, including high-stakes algorithmic trading bots and financial investors, were just completely fooled. It proves how terrifyingly fast a fabricated reality can influence high-stakes decision-making.
Before any human can even step in to verify it. And it's happening on a deeply personal level, too. The paper brings up this incredibly alarming trend occurring with call centers in Mexico right now.
This part is truly chilling.
Right. You receive a call from an unknown number, and it's someone claiming to be from your bank.
And here is the insidious mechanism behind that scam. They aren't trying to trick you into handing over your password on that specific call.
No, they have a completely different goal.
Right. They just want to keep you talking. They are recording the unique cadences of your voice to feed into an AI model.
That is so creepy.
Once they synthesize your voice, they use it to bypass the biometric voice recognition security protocols on your banking apps.
Yes, they're literally stealing your vocal identity to rob you.
Yes, your very voice becomes a weapon against you.
And, like, if the tech is that effective at cloning a random citizen's voice based on a 2-minute phone call, imagine what it can do with a politician.
A politician who has thousands of hours of high-quality audio floating around on the internet.
It's a goldmine for this tech.
Which brings us to the most critical vulnerability in an election cycle, and that is the factor of time.
Time. Okay, how so?
Well, the danger of a deepfake is heavily dependent on when it is released into the public sphere.
Because if a fake video drops, say, a year before an election, campaigns have time to dissect it, right?
Exactly. Digital forensics experts can analyze the pixels, look for algorithmic artifacts, and publicly debunk it.
But what happens when that hyper-realistic deepfake is dropped, like 12 hours before the polls open?
That is the nightmare scenario. In that tiny window of time, voters, campaigns, and the media simply do not have the hours required to definitively prove it's a fabrication.
Let alone communicate that truth to the entire electorate.
Right. The damage is done, the narrative takes hold, and votes are cast based on a phantom reality.
And by the time the truth comes out, the election is already over.
The impact is entirely irreversible.
Wait, I'm struggling to buy that a little bit. Why would a bad actor waste time on a smaller race?
What do you mean?
Well, my assumption is that the biggest targets for these deepfakes would be the massive national races, the presidential elections. I mean, that's where all the geopolitical power is centered. Why bother with anything else?
What's fascinating here is that the source's findings run completely counter to that assumption.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, national elections involve astronomical budgets and global power. But because of that, they operate under an intense, highly concentrated microscope.
Oh, I see.
We have armies of journalists, fact-checkers, and tech analysts watching every single frame of video that comes out of a presidential campaign.
So releasing a deep fake at that level is almost guaranteed to be scrutinized by experts instantly.
Exactly. The real vulnerabilities, the soft targets, are local and municipal elections, mayoral races, city councils.
Oh, wow, that makes so much sense.
At the local level, you have a fraction of the media presence. Local journalism has been gutted over the last decade, so there are just fewer reporters to verify facts.
And the campaigns themselves don't have the resources.
Right? They have significantly less money to hire digital forensic experts to fight back against a smear. Plus, the electorate might be less engaged with the daily minutiae of the race compared to a federal election.
So basically creates a perfect petri dish for manipulation.
Absolutely. Local voters are prime targets.
And they're targets operating in an absolute regulatory vacuum. There are virtually no laws keeping this in check.
The legislation is lagging so far behind.
Trying to regulate AI with our current legal system is like trying to enforce traffic laws on airplanes using a manual for horse-drawn carriages. I mean, the vehicles aren't even operating in the same dimension.
That's a great way to put it.
Lawmakers are still holding hearings trying to figure out how Facebook worked 10 years ago.
The legal void is immense. Now, there are pioneer steps being taken, such as the executive order issued by U.S. President Joe Biden on October 30, 2023.
Okay, so that's something.
It aimed at establishing safe and secure AI standards. But issuing an executive order is really just a declaration of intent.
Right, it takes forever to actually do anything.
Implementing sweeping, effective, and enforceable regulations across a society takes months, if not years, of bureaucratic process. And while the legal system crawls forward, the technology is sprinting.
But surely it isn't just doom and gloom, right? Is AI destined to completely destroy democracy, or is there a scenario where it actually becomes a tool for the voter?
The author does argue there is absolutely a potential for a massive democratization of information.
Okay, how would that work?
Well, if these tools are placed in the hands of the public, they can instantly synthesize complex data that powerful institutions traditionally try to obscure.
Oh, like parsing through dense legal documents.
Exactly. You could have an AI instantly scan thousands of pages of obscure municipal legislation to track a politician's true voting record on a super niche issue.
There are actually some wild historical hypotheticals about this in the paper. Like, what if voters in 2008 had access to a generative AI tool to deeply analyze the nuances of